Okay, so hello. Thank you for stopping by at our office. So can you please introduce yourself and your field research project to us?
Hi, my name is Corey Johnson. I am a PhD candidate at the University of California, Davis, whose research concerns human evolution and technological change during the Ice Age or Pleistocene.
All right, so what is your academic background and how do you hope to advance this field research?
So my academic background is in Pleistocene archaeology. So my research looks at stone artifact technology, so early stone tools made by early humans over the last hundreds of thousands of years, and specifically my research looks at the economic efficiency of stone tool making of our early ancestors. Stone tools were very important for our ancestors. They allowed them to adapt to new and changing environments over hundreds of thousands of years during the Pleistocene, and these stone tools and how they were made can tell us about how efficient they were at adapting to the environment, which can tell us a lot about perhaps changes in culture or changes in demography that took place in the deep past. And so I guess my academic background, my interest in this started back when I was an undergraduate at the University of Montana, where I participated in a field school in Tanzania, which is in East Africa. And the field school was at a site called Olduvai Gorge, which is a really important site for human evolution, for understanding some technological changes that took place like 1.5 million years ago, so long before our species emerged. And then in about 2016, I came to UC Davis. And here at UC Davis, I'm working on problems related to technological change that took place in East Asia in the prehistoric past. My advisor, he's been working in Mongolia for many years now, and my research has involved sites in China, the site called the Niawan Basin, which is some of the oldest stone tools in East Asia, and then of course in Mongolia, I'm looking at a site, a region of sites called the Tolbor Valley. It's in the Tolbor Valley. And then there's another site in China called Shuidonggo. And what's interesting, so the Niawan Basin, some of the oldest stone tools in East Asia, but then in Tolbor in Mongolia, we see this really important technological change take place. It's a kind of technology that we call Upper Paleolithic technology. So like the Paleolithic is divided into like 3 stages. You got Lower Paleolithic, then Middle Paleolithic, and then Upper Paleolithic. And the Upper Paleolithic, it's this dramatic change in technology that we see around 45,000 years ago. And so like the Lower Paleolithic stuff, hundreds of thousands of years old, and then we think that that technology, those stone tools were made by earlier human migrations of different species than us. So like Homo erectus or Homo heidelbergensis, they have all these, biological names, but they're these fossil species that are different from us. And then with the Upper Paleolithic, we see this new kind of technology. And with this new technology, we also see human fossils that look like us. Big brain, big body, living in like colder regions, and with stone tools that help them adapt to these colder regions that let them survive. So the Upper Paleolithic stone tools are really, they might seem like the same thing that was going on before, but they're doing new things too. So they're being used to hunt animals like gazelle or horses or bison, and then butcher those animals and then turn their hides into like clothing or blankets. Sometimes they take ostrich eggshell or ivory and they make it into jewelry and different kinds of ornaments too. And we think that these Upper Paleolithic tools that come with our species around 45,000 years ago, we think they were being made more efficiently. And so that's my academic background, is understanding technological change and the economics behind it. So understanding how efficiently different kinds of technologies were being made at different points in time, over tens of thousands of years, keep in mind. And by comparing like the Upper Paleolithic stone tools that come with our species to those that come before, or from different sites in the region that are the same age but show a different kind of technology, we can start to get a picture of how efficient different groups of tool makers were, which is really, I think, important for a number of reasons, but one of the big ones is shortly after our species, Homo sapiens, arrives in Mongolia, the other tool makers, different species, Denisovans, Homo erectus, whoever they were, and their different kinds of stone tools, they disappeared. And so one of the big questions is, why did they disappear? And so I'm wondering if it's maybe due to adaptation and economy, and maybe trying to link that to different changes in environment that took place during the Ice Age, which was like a really turbulent time of environmental change. Things, it's called the Ice Age. Sometimes it was really cold, but sometimes it wasn't so bad. But sometimes, and that changed. It could change very rapidly and often. And if you were able to be flexible and economic, maybe that's helped some groups survive, and maybe that explains why we're still here. And our other human evolutionary relatives, like Denisovans or Neanderthals, for example, they're gone. I mean, they're not completely gone. There's still a little bit of genetics, but yeah, our species is still here. And it's a big question in human evolution and anthropology is why that is. And Mongolia is one of the few places where we see these Upper Paleolithic sites in a new part of the world. And yeah, I think it's going to be something my work can contribute to, is trying to understand this technology just a little bit better and try to see what the economy was with their technology, which might sound weird with like stone tool making. It's not like big scale economies, but yeah.
Interesting. Great. Okay. Thank you. So I believe you must working with some Mongolian organization you're partnering with. Can you please tell more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm working here in Mongolia, we're partnering, my advisor and I, Dr. Nicholas Wins, we're partnering with the Department of Prehistory of the Mongolia Academy of Sciences.
Okay.
And my advisor, he's been working with the department for many years now, continuing this 20-year collaboration that's been taking place between the department, between Mongolian and US archaeologists in the Tolbor Valley, specifically, the site that I mentioned where these Upper Paleolithic stone tools are found. And in 2017, I got to see firsthand the broad range of scientific and academic and cultural backgrounds that Mongolian archaeologists from the department bring together to work in the Tolbor Valley. Researchers from the US, Japan, Korea, Russia, the EU, the department, the Mongolian archaeology department, they bring all these researchers from all over the world together to work on this Upper Paleolithic site, or these number of Upper Paleolithic sites that in many ways connect us all. And I think that's very valuable. And so I'm happy to continue to be a part of that with the support that the American Center for Mongolian Studies is providing myself and my advisor.
Okay, great. Yeah. All right. So, did you have any challenges or lesson learned happening so far, like doing your research work, especially in Mongolia?
Yeah, I mean, besides the obvious pandemic, of course,
yes.
One of the biggest challenges that I find with my research is trying to reconstruct the different technologies that we're seeing in the Upper Paleolithic, sites like the Tolbor Valley. Right. So these different technologies, they have different manufacturing systems. And these manufacturing systems, sometimes they branch apart, sometimes they come together, sometimes you have two different systems for making the same tool, but they'll take different pathways, and I'll see, okay, this is the same kind of artifact, but they were made following different methods. It's like, okay, so there's multiple ways of making this one thing. Or I'll see two different artifacts, but they were made the same way up till one point, and then it changes. And it's like, oh, okay, so they're using the same system, and then it changes a little bit. Or sometimes I'll see an artifact that's being made one way, and then it'll be recycled, and then it'll start taking and being made for a completely different purpose in a completely different way. And so it's going to be really challenging, I think, to try to quantify the economy of all these different systems, even just within one site in the Tolbor Valley. And then the challenge is comparing multiple sites in the Tolbor Valley, and then the challenge is comparing it to other sites outside of the Tolbor Valley, other sites in Mongolia, other sites in East Asia that have similar or different technologies. Because I want to be careful not to try to compare like apples and oranges, I want to be able to create like a universal system of comparing things economically, but also keeping in mind that, the different ways that stone tools were made might mean that some things are not as easily comparable as others. But they're all stone tools, so it shouldn't be too hard. And I think, again, with the support that I'm getting from, the ACMS, that this will help us bring us closer again to, understanding a technology that's very ancient in time, and what it can tell us about how important technology is to our species today, and of course going forward too.
Yeah, thank you so much. So it's going to be always our pleasure to support the scholars like you. So hope you will have a great outcome from your research work in coming August doing your research work. So good luck with that.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I'm
you so
excited to
much.
share the results with you all.
Yeah, we will.
Thank you.